everyone. Thank you to all of you who support my channel by subscribing and regularly listening to my stories. Sending love to all of you. I'd love for you to leave a comment telling me which city you're tuning in from. To those of you who are new to my channel, thank you for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe and like the video. It really helps our creepy community grow faster, and that means more horror stories for you. Tonight, I've got more scary stories, this time about the dark web. It seems like you all really enjoyed this topic, so make sure to watch the video till the end. 2 intense horror stories await, with unexpected twists. Enjoy. The glow of the monitor illuminated the room, casting eerie shadows on the walls. I sat down to delete my browsing data when a peculiar tab caught my eye. A dark web forum I didn't remember accessing. The timestamp showed 3:12 a.m. last night. My wife Clara wasn't tech savvy. She could barely manage her email, let alone navigate the dark corners of the internet. Yet here I was, staring at detailed forum posts about untraceable elimination methods, made from our home computer just hours ago. The forum itself was disturbing. Discussions about untraceable methods of eliminating people, complete with pricing and contact details. Someone using the username Nightshade had been particularly active, asking detailed questions about methods that wouldn't be detected in an autopsy. I scrolled through Nightshade's post history, my hands growing cold. They had been researching this for weeks, methodically gathering information about various toxins and their effects. The posts were articulate, calculated, definitely not written by someone fumbling with technology. The latest thread was the most chilling. Target knows too much, need quick solution. Price not an issue. I glanced at my phone. Clara had texted she was running errands. Something about grocery shopping. The normalcy of her message felt wrong against the darkness I'd discovered. Digging deeper into Nightshade's profile, I found older posts discussing surveillance techniques and methods of gathering intelligence. Each post was more disturbing than the last, painting a picture of someone meticulously planning something terrible. My head started throbbing. Brief flashes of memory tried to surface. Late nights at the computer, whispered phone calls, a strange bitter taste in my morning coffee. But they slipped away before I could grasp them. I heard Clara's key in the front door. Home early, she called out. Found everything I needed. Something about her voice made me pause. Found everything she needed. The words echoed ominously. Be right there, I called back, quickly closing the forum tab. My head was spinning with questions. What was Clara involved in? Why would she need information about untraceable toxins? How long had she been planning? Whatever this was. Everything okay? Clara appeared in the doorway, holding a glass of water. You look pale. I stared at her, really seeing her for the first time. The dark circles under her eyes, the slight tremor in her hands, the way she watched me, waiting. What did you do? I whispered. She continued unpacking groceries, each movement precise and controlled. Her silence felt heavy, deliberate. I saw what you'd been researching. I turned the monitor toward her. Untraceable toxins, methods of surveillance, Nightshade's little collection of murder preparations. The rustle of paper bags stopped. Clara stood motionless, her back to me, shoulders tense. When she finally spoke, her voice was different, deeper, almost resigned. "Tell me what you remember about last Tuesday." The question caught me off guard. "What does that have to do with—" "Last Tuesday, John. What were you doing at 3 a.m.? I opened my mouth to respond, but the memory slipped away like smoke. There were other gaps too, I realized. Moments missing from the past weeks. Black holes in my consciousness that I'd attributed to stress, to grief, to the endless nights lying awake after they'd stripped away my career. Clara turned, reached for her coat hanging by the door. From its pocket, she withdrew a small black device, a voice recorder. Her thumb found the play button. My voice filled the room. Testing solubility of compound N154. Onset time approximately 4 minutes. No detectable taste when mixed with coffee. Primary target continues daily routine unaware. Secondary targets under surveillance. The timestamp read 3:17 a.m. Tuesday. "You record yourself," Clara said softly. "Every night, every experiment, every plan." She placed the recorder on the desk beside a cup of coffee. My coffee, still warm, carrying that familiar bitter undertone I'd grown so accustomed to. My hand shook as I reached for the keyboard, pulled up Nightshade's message history. The writing style, the methodical documentation, the cold precision. It wasn't just familiar, it was mine. The latest post glowed on the screen. "Target knows too much. Need quick solution." I looked at my wife, really looked at her, and saw the exhaustion etched in her face, the vigilance in her eyes, the weight of keeping me from becoming the monster I planned to be. One bitter cup of coffee at a time. "The medication helps you forget," she whispered. "Helps you stay human until night comes again." The coffee cup sat between us like a confession. I've spent 5 years tracking human traffickers through the dark web. You develop a certain numbness to it all. The prices, the descriptions, the casual dehumanization. But something about this auction site was different. Most trafficking operations are messy, with multiple bidders fighting over their preferred merchandise. This one was clean, clinical. Each auction had exactly one bidder, always the same anonymous entity. User_31773. The prices were astronomical. Millions in cryptocurrency for seemingly ordinary people. A middle-aged accountant from Denver. A graduate student in Boston. A retired teacher from Seattle. I first noticed the pattern 3 months into my investigation. Every auction listing included a high-resolution photo, basic biographical data, and a countdown timer set to exactly 30 days. The photos weren't the usual surveillance shots or stolen social media pictures. They were professional portraits, like corporate headshots, all taken with the same sterile backdrop. The subjects looked directly into the camera, their expressions neutral, but their eyes. There was something vacant in their eyes. I started tracking the purchases. The pattern emerged quickly. 30 days after each auction, the subject would die. Always ruled a suicide. Always meticulously planned. No notes, no last messages, just carefully arranged affairs and clean exits from the world. My superiors thought I was reaching when I presented my findings. Coincidence, they said. Correlation doesn't equal causation. But I knew better. I'd seen the timestamps, tracked the blockchain transactions, mapped the deaths. This wasn't random. User 31,773 wasn't buying people. They were selecting them. Somehow, they were choosing people who would kill themselves, or worse, forcing them to do it. I became obsessed with the patterns. The prices seemed to correlate with how quickly and cleanly the deaths occurred. Higher prices meant faster, more efficient suicides. Lower prices meant messier ends, sometimes multiple attempts. It was like the buyer knew exactly how each scenario would play out. The site itself was a masterpiece of minimalist design. No advertisements, no cross-listings, no community features. Just an endless scroll of auctions, each one counting down to someone's end. I watched them tick by, helpless, as more lives were purchased. Then I noticed something in the metadata. Buried in each listing's code was a string of characters that looked like nonsense at first. But after weeks of analysis, I realized they were fragments of an algorithm, pieces of something larger. Each auction contributed to its pattern, refined it, made it more precise. That's when I finally understood what I was really looking at. This wasn't just a marketplace. It was a machine learning its trade, and human lives were its training data. The breakthrough came when I cracked one of the encryption keys. It led me to a corporate server, hidden behind layers of proxies, not in some distant country known for cybercrime, but right here in Silicon Valley. As I prepared for the raid, I felt a cold certainty. I was about to expose something far worse than a trafficking ring. I didn't know then how right I was. The raid was conducted at dawn. 3 unmarked vans, a dozen agents, all for what looked like an ordinary office building in Palo Alto. No company name on the facade, just a street number and tinted windows. The first floor was empty, so was the second. On the 3rd floor, we found the servers, dozens of them arranged in perfect rows, humming in the darkness. No guards, no staff, just machines. As we began copying drives, I noticed the timestamps. The most recent auction had ended just hours ago. Another victim, somewhere out there with 29 days left. I tracked the network to a central terminal in the basement. The screen lit up as I approached, displaying a single prompt. Continue training Y or N. The data started flowing as soon as I hit Y. Names, dates, correlations, not criminal records or financial histories. Medical data, insurance claims, therapy sessions, job losses, relationship statuses. Every digital footprint of human misery fed into an equation. Behind me, an agent called out. They'd found something in the original server code. A company name, Prometheus Analytics, and a project title that made my blood run cold. Mortality Prediction Engine v3.1. The files were encrypted, but the password was right there in the project summary. User _31773. Inside, we found the truth. Prometheus wasn't selling people. They were testing an AI designed to predict suicides. The auctions were its confidence ratings. Higher bids meant the AI was more certain of its prediction. The portraits came from their partners, hospitals, insurance companies, government databases. The single bidder, user 31,773, was the AI itself. documenting its accuracy. Each purchase was just the system tagging another confirmed prediction. The 30-day countdown wasn't a deadline for murder. It was the AI's calculated date of death. My phone buzzed. A new auction had just been posted. The photo showed a tired-looking man in his 40s. In the metadata, I found my own employee ID number. The price was the highest I'd ever seen.